This is Tucker Carlson, the new king of cable news. He took over Bill O'Reilly's slot in April, and since then he's had the most watched news show on cable. Fox viewers love him because he takes on the liberal elite.
Oh hey, look at this little slithery cunt again. Anyway, Tucker Carlson is loved by many, not just Fox viewers, because he takes on liberal elitists. In case you're unaware, liberal elitism is incredibly unpopular right now, as much as ultra-liberalism is as well. Because, well, quite frankly, they've gone batshit crazy. But no, you'd rather wave this off with a flick of your hand and replace it with only right-wingers like him. Because in your mind, dichotomy is inevitability and nuance doesn't exist. But he gets into some other idiocy later on, so let's continue.
Someone else who really likes Tucker Carlson.
In replace of O'Reilly, we get Tucker, who I think is a much better figure. He's certainly more intelligent.
This is Richard Spencer, one of the most notorious white supremacists in the country.
He at least has a kind of open-mindedness in a way that Bill O'Reilly never would. Spencer isn't the only professional racist giddy about Tucker's show. Here's David Duke, former Grand Wizard of the KKK, tweeting, "God bless Tucker Carlson." And here's the white supremacist website Daily Stormer calling Tucker literally our greatest ally.
Now this is a tactic often used by people much like this individual, who wavered away all of the sins that Antifa has created. And Antifa, by the way, you could argue are anti-white. But unlike this asshat, I'm not suggesting that his defense of Antifa means he approves of that same sentiment, because, quite frankly, I don't get my exercise jumping to conclusions. However, that aside, he's going to use Spencer's and David Duke's endorsement of Tucker to aid in his claim that Tucker is inherently racist and bigoted without him doing anything outright racist or bigoted. Also, you will notice that he neither confirms nor denies Spencer when Spencer calls Tucker far more intelligent than Bill O'Reilly, and that there is no context at all to what David Duke tweeted. Regardless of who it is, context is still important, you little weasel. So here's a little context to add to the Daily Stormer that you also cited. They once had the heads of Washington Post on their main page, as a banner, I might add. Guess that makes them racists. And while this tactic is quite old and frankly incredibly stupid, it is still employed regularly by identitarians, much like yourself, you pathetic little amoeba, and Richard Spencer, who is, well, quite frankly, just a fucking dinosaur cunt. But essentially, you're in the same boat with the person you actively hate. Good job, you fucking flat dick.
In a lot of ways, Tucker is a typical Fox News host. He complains about political correctness, attacks liberal media.
A typical Fox News anchor and your typical average American. Liberalism has become so corrupt and out of hand that it has become synonymous with censorship and anti-free speech, something you are probably very exuberant about. But that aside, Tucker's fame is directly from a general populist backlash to liberal elitism and spoiled brats telling them how to live their fucking lives. You know, that line you said he, quote, complains about political correctness, end quote. That alone is a large part of the reason why he is loved so much. The fact that you can't see why that alone makes him so popular only confirms your existence within an ideological bubble. Then again, you're working for Vox, so I shouldn't be in the least bit fucking surprised. Anyway, moving on.
He goes after Latinos.
Mexican citizens make up more than 14% of the entire federal prison population.
Talking point is, of course, bullshit.
I know it may hurt your delicate sensibilities, but let's take a look at the numbers here. If you look at the BOP.gov site, it shows that Hispanics make up 33.1% of the prison population. But okay, let's look at illegal immigrants. In 2008, why can't I find any from later years? Oh, wait, this happened. But anyway, here's a total number of non-US citizens in 2008 versus the total number of people incarcerated in 2008. Now, doing some quick math, you'll come to the percentage of around 17. It's like 17 in a series of decimals. It's repeating, I'm sure. But now, it does say people that are not registered citizens, and this is 9 years old. So I'd say that Tucker's average of about 14% probably isn't that far off. So no, it's not bullshit, you fucking hockey puck. It's a legitimate point, regardless of how many bar graphs you show.
He goes after Muslims.
Why is violent terrorism an inevitability in Europe? There are a lot of Muslims living in Europe now.
And he goes after refugees.
Who would have thought that all those migrants are having a big effect on the crime rate?
That's cities with high refugee populations typically see their crime rates decrease, and the overwhelming majority of terror attacks in the EU aren't religiously motivated. But that hasn't stopped Tucker from making that myth a central theme on his show.
Foreigners come to our countries and kill our people. You'd think our leaders would blame them, but no, they blame us.
Oof, foreigners.
Dropping a hard F. A final.
Yeah.
People talk about integration. I always hear the word colonization. We have opened our arms and told everyone to come and effectively take over.
It's basically the handing off of the concern to a group of people who are more than happy to take you by the hand and turn it into a fist.
Also, can we talk about the annoying eyebrow thing Tucker does when he's talking to someone he agrees with?
Chosen to join. National flag. I know what they're with Western culture.
He acts like his mind is being blown by the most basic comments. He's doing it right now, isn't he?
Where the fuck are you getting your statistics? This is proven wrong on multiple accounts, but I'll just get right into it because, quite frankly, I'm going to enjoy picking this apart, you myopic little twit. First, to start off with, a large number of the more recent attacks in the EU have been linked to individuals rather than religious extents. That being the case, you can't blow off the fact that Allahu Akbar was said either while or before the attacks happened. Not all of them, most of them. Just because it's not registered as religious doesn't mean that it's not religious, you slopehead. It's called not wanting to call a duck because doing so is quote-unquote insensitive. As for terror attacks decreasing in cities since the influx of refugees, I point to my previous point, as well as this little article about no-go zones becoming more commonplace. Now, it's one thing to be a racist piece of garbage like Richard Spencer and his ilk, and another thing to be not only equally as racist towards a different group, but also disingenuous, and to turn a blind eye towards something so easily proven to be a real issue that people are facing. And when you and other media outlets brush aside all the evidence to try to act like there isn't an issue, I hate to say it, but you're giving these cunts ammo. How about instead of painting everyone as horrible people for noticing issues, you listen to them and maybe use your tiny brain for something other than a fucking hat rack. Anyway, I'm irritated enough as it is. I don't need to keep intentionally hurting myself to watch this and pick apart this cunt's terrible viewpoints. So in closing, Tucker Carlson may be a quote white supremacist unquote, but there's no way that insinuating it by being like, oh, the alt-right likes him, therefore he's guilty. Just so you know, because apparently you're incapable of figuring it out, that's not how the real world works. Anyway, I'm done for now. I make responses every Tuesday, and I rant on Thursdays. If you enjoy my shit, subscribe and like, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and or night, and I will see you cunts on Thursday.